What a weird song to make a music video for. What's up, friends? Today we're checking out Viva Las Vengeance, the new album by Panic at the Disco. Viva Las Vengeance is produced by Mike Viola and Jake Sinclair, two really great alternative rock producers who have done work with Panic as well as Weezer, Andrew McMahon, just a lot of great names. So I'm excited to see what they have on this album. It's all recorded to analog tape, which gives the sound a very interesting quality and places specific limitations on the production and recording process. And those limitations in some cases can bring out some really interesting stuff. I'm a Vegas native, as is Brennan Urie. So much a Vegas native that I've met Brennan Urie's mom, which is a weird thing. I haven't met Brennan Urie, but I've met his mom. Kind of funny. She's really nice. I'm also a producer and songwriter, so hopefully that gives a bit of an expert opinion on things and helps you enjoy the sounds coming out of this album a little more. Okay, let's start out with the song Viva Las Vengeance. Heard it before, did a reaction to it before, but gotta start from the beginning. One thing I didn't notice about the pre-chorus first time around is they've paired claps with the snare, and I think it adds a really nice energy to that snare in the pre-chorus.
Shut up, go to bed.
I really like the part where they strip everything away. You just have that bass line, those strings in the vocal. It really showcases how clean that bass sound is. I think it's just a great idea to start an album with so much energy and with such a catchy song. I mean, to put out the lead single and have that be the first song on your album, have it be the title track, there's just so many things fitting together. Also, I didn't notice this before, but there's a lot more scratchiness to Brennan's vocal on this album so far. It's capturing a lot more of that, those kind of breaks and that kind of smoky quality, which we haven't seen quite to this extent. This song is big, bombastic. It has a lot of great production elements. You've got the horns, you've got strings, you've got a lot of things building in interesting locations. A lot of really rich harmonies on this song too, which I expect we'll find throughout this album. And also that quality that just fits with that analog tape feel. I think the song gets better with every listen. I've liked it more and more. So far, most reminiscent of the album Pretty Odd by Panic at the Disco for me. So yeah, an exciting first song. Let's go to Middle of a Breakup.
You and me don't deserve each other. We ain't no star-crossed lovers. We just get carried away.
I think you start to see the analog quality most starting with this song, where the harmonies aren't super exact. You know, there's little syllable rhythms that are slightly off, and it's almost like endearing. It reminds you of those like 70s and 80s songs. The way the guitars, strings play out and synth play off of each other in that solo is really nice. It just good little back and forth, well composed solo section. I don't understand the honeybee line at the end. Like, I understand the song. I hear what's going on. That one line just doesn't fit to me. But it sounds nice. I guess that's all that matters, right? What sounds nice. Love that portion when they strip everything away and it's just the kick, the bass, and the vocal. Oof. Oof. Just a solid moment. Just one of those empty parking space songs. There's not enough songs about this specific feeling, you know, when you break up with someone, you want to get back together just to satisfy a couple romantic desires real quick. Again, and I've done a full reaction to that song, so you can find that on my channel. Don't Let the Lights Go Out is next.
Stare at a wall that's told 1,000 tragedies, holding a hand.
These vocals sound so vulnerable and have this really sweet weakness to them. Really great vocal take that they captured out of Brennan for the song.
Don't let the light go
really, really enjoy that Don't Let the Light Go Out portion, the primary chorus with the kick and bass pairing with each other. It's a nice little part. It's a nice little breakaway from what's going on in the song. The way that that kick makes that bass almost sound like you can hear the elements of it more, you know? It's like they're enhancing each other in a really beautiful way. Also, the horn is building in the background of it, which is so cool. Really nice emotional quality to that song. It still has enough excitement, you know, with that pre-chorus and those higher vocals there. Good composition in terms of like where they're putting horns and strings, which I expected from Jenks Sinclair and Mike Viola. I think they're very talented at string and orchestral work. I don't understand the line, "You're the only one who knows how to operate my heavy machinery." Like, I get what it means. He's saying like, oh, you know, heavy machinery is kind of a difficult thing to operate, and you're the only one who knows how to operate me. You know how to work with me. You know the ins and outs. You understand me at a deep level, just like a construction worker understands the heavy machinery that they work with. It's just kind of a weird line to me. I like everything else about the song. That's just the one line I'm just kind of like, huh, it's a little weird. Local God is next up. I really like this kind of transition moment in between the chorus and the verse.
They say we never paid our dues, but what does that mean when money never changes hands?
That second verse is so true. I've heard so many people in Vegas say, yeah, they never paid their dues. And there's like not the same attachment here in Vegas as there is to bands like Imagine Dragons and The Killers. So interesting. Huh. Weird.
Wonder if you had a chance to sell your soul. Did you ever get your money back?
Savage. That's a savage song. That's like, oh, what a dig. And I mean, it's fair. You know, it's a weird thing that there are these local bands who criticize Panic and say, you know, they didn't pay their dues. They just got signed super early. They hardly did any shows. And like, while that's true, I liked his line where he says, what do you mean pay your dues? Like, that doesn't pay. Like, getting that record deal pays. And he kind of makes the point of, you guys wish you had a record deal. Would you rather be just like this local band that's not going anywhere, or would you rather have a record deal with a massive company? And I mean, I can see where he's coming from. I can see where he's coming from. It's got to be a weird frustration to have to deal with. This is a very just like unexpected song from Panic. Very unexpected. But for someone who knows like this relationship that Panic at the Disco has with Vegas, it kind of makes sense. Like, it's like, yeah, no, I see why he wrote this song. It's a legitimate feeling he's probably going through. Please subscribe. Please. Let's go to the next song. Star Spangled Banger. That's funny. That's a funny name for a song.
Me Kitty and Brittany went to the Meadows Mall. Got a ring in my bottom lip.
This is a wacky song. Hearing someone refer to Meadows Mall in a song is so weird. Meadows Mall is a really ghetto mall here in Vegas. Just a trashy place. So it's interesting to hear a reference to it.
Playing on Liberace's piano at a house party up in Summerlin.
I love the verses on this song so much. These hometown references are kind of wild to me. Playing on Liberace's piano, because Liberace he lives in Vegas. He lived in Vegas for a long time, and the Summerlin reference just... Good anthem song. I really liked those guitar solos in the later half, the way they paired with strings in certain portions. Just really brilliant. I mean, to follow that solo that way, just to bring it out even more, worked really well. I'm not a huge fan of the chorus. I understand its purpose. It's this big bombastic thing that everyone can sing along to, kind of like an anthem. And it works from that perspective. And it also encompasses what was going on with Panic in their early career, you know? They kind of represented the weirdos, the freaks, but that freaky weirdo-ness was becoming mainstream because emo was such this huge genre, you know? The Fever You Can't Sweat Out days were so iconic for that. They really represented the emo movement in this special way. I really like those verses. They remind me of Instant Karma for some reason. Also feels like something I would hear from like a Billy Joel era. Just liked that shuffled drum. Made a lot of sense. And the lyrics were really interesting. It's like a Vegas native. I'm just like, wait, I know so many of these things. Like, this is weird. A lot of cool local references. Very nostalgic album for him. It's the kind of taste I'm getting so far. Interesting piece of music. I want to, like, it's one of those songs I want to show to all my Vegas friends just because, like, hey, look at all these Vegas references. Which, you know, Panic's not especially known for making a ton of Vegas references. I guess in the last one they talked about Bellagio too. God Killed Rock and Roll is next up.
When no one else is there.
This is so Queen inspired that it's ridiculous. There's just vocal harmonies at the beginning and then the piano coming in and having occasional harmonies come in. Even the end of the piano string sounds a lot like Bohemian Rhapsody. It's fascinating. That midsection is really special. I like the double time. Works really well, nice and groovy. Has a good vibe to it, for sure. Those horns near this ending section are really groovy. Just coming in really precise moments.
Staring down a lonely road.
I dig that song. That song is fun. It takes inspiration from, you know, Queen, Beatles, pushes envelopes, makes it very Panic, adopts its own flair. I don't know if I completely understand that line, God killed rock and roll. I don't know if he means that, like, religion killed rock and roll or just, like, fate and destiny made it so rock just became a lot less popular. I don't know the point exactly, because it feels like culture just shifted away from rock and roll a little bit more than anything. I don't know that God specifically killed it. I feel like religion certainly tried to kill it, but I don't think it was successful. Say It Louder is next up. This guitar and bass combination reminds me so much of The Police that it's ridiculous. Like, hearing the inspiration hard on this one. The production on this song just gives it such an epic quality. That, like, choral vocal that's kind of backing him up and then the strings coming in just really makes this song explode in this cool way.
When the song comes on the radio, when you're
That slow section is so good. Just that slight piano, the back and forth between the primary vocal and the background vocals, slight bit of strings, just nice touches to bring down the energy.
remember what it's like to be there. Remember what it's like.
Fun song. I like that one. That's enjoyable. Throughout this album, I'm noticing that there's not a lot of cymbal work going on in general. It's pretty sparse on that, especially in those choruses. I think it's mainly to, you know, let that high end be filled by other instrumentation. The instrumentation is so rich, and so that makes sense. But I do like the snare hi-hat pattern here in those verses. I like the idea too, the say it louder for the people in the back. That's a pretty popular phrase right now, and so it's smart to kind of use a phrase and make it into a song. Super Soaker is next up. They're getting a great sound out of that cowbell. You don't hear enough cowbell in music, you know? It's nice and dulled. It's good.
In my yellow, oh, let me radio, come on.
That whispered come on is a little creepy. Weird. It's a weird vibe. Transition moment's so interesting. Those bongos and that discordant, like, dissonant strings. Digging it. Nice, like, moments in between that they're getting out of this album.
Making my bed, red tail lights in the back of
It's experimental in interesting ways. You know, it pushes boundaries. It does it intelligently. Good song. After listening to the song, I cannot tell if he's referring to a woman, a car, or a drug. Like he says, you're a woman, a car, or a drug, and I don't know which this she actually is. I can't tell. Because women don't have taillights in the back of their head. So lyrically, it's strange. It doesn't make sense to me. But song-wise, it's interesting, and I like it. You know, musically, it's fun. What makes this album good, what makes it special, especially compared to the last, 3 or 4 Panic albums that come before it, is the moments in between, you know? The moments when Brennan's not singing are so fascinating. They do such interesting things in those instrumental portions. And I think that's really commendable. It's interesting because it's not even really a band at this point. It's just Brendan. It's interesting that as a soloist, he's starting to get the most involved in the instrumental that probably he's ever been. That these albums have ever had that quality. Something About Maggie's next up. Here's me praying for more Vegas references. The way they pair those keyboards with the guitar is so ingenious right here. It's like a harpsichord type vibe. It's cool. It's really cool. I'm on the 4th chorus of this song, and it's so catchy. It's so good. And the way they pair horns later on, it's so good. It's just such a great build. The horn work at the end is so brilliant. And I didn't even notice the organ till the end, so I'm glad it kind of had that end section that pointed out to me. That is the most cheerful song that mentions abuse since Getting Better by the Beatles. If you're actually being abused, don't hit back. Just get help and get out. Get out of that situation. That's a bad situation. I don't understand the complexities of it. So don't come to me. I don't know what I'm doing. But good song. Great song. Really interesting. Really like the Italian going on throughout the song. Nice use of background vocals. Really intense. That instrumental section was so freaking good. Just the way those pianos played off of those strings. So cool. So cool. And then the occasional vincero. Bah. Muy bien. Molto bene. That ending is so cool. Great use of a harpsichord. Brendan's obviously got a crazy vocal, right? The notes he's singing in this are super intense and they're super smooth and they have this nice dark tinge to them. For sure. And I don't think we've had instrumentals and production landscapes that have been brilliant enough to really almost show him up. But in this, we're seeing it, there's just such great production here. It's so phenomenal. Such a weird song. It's weird to me because I saw that they made a music video out of this. I haven't watched it yet, but what a weird song to make a music video for. This is very theatrical, very different song. I can't see this playing on the radio. I mean, maybe it will. I really like it. It reminds me of some of the theatrical stuff that Fun in the Format used to do. And Queen, for that matter. The hook is fun. It's getting stuck in my head. Her Majesty is magnificent. Going from fast to slow. It's a cool song. It's cool. I like it.
Give a listen, you sweet little kitten, sitting downstairs in your...
Really great tom work in this song throughout those verses and pre-choruses. Just solid. Not enough toms are used in songs, and love to hear it. Really like this guitar coming in. We've had not as much of that really gritty guitar in this song, so it feels nice. Has a nice vibe to it. I think the electric piano that they're using in this song, that electric keyboard provides a nice kind of contrast to what we've heard throughout this album. We're not hearing as many synths, and so having it there is just a interesting vibe. Yeah, this is a good song. Not my favorite on the album, but it's cool. It has a good message, and I think a lot of Panic fans are being spoken to. A lot of, especially the harder core Panic fans in this song. And if they're not being spoken to currently, they're being spoken to as someone they once were, because I feel like, you know, this kind of outcast, emo, rejected, weirdo freak is kind of what they've always tried to brand themselves as adjacent to. Do It to Death is last.
Take me to the limit, nothing lasts forever, so we'll give it a try. Take me to
My favorite part of this song is that part in the chorus with the da 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 da. It's just such a different thing, you know. It's not fitting with the classic chugs and the classic rock vibe, and I like that it doesn't fit. I like that it's weird. If you've been watching this video, you should not be surprised at all that I love that those strings come in here at the end. And it's beautiful. Ooh.
shut up and go to bed.
I really love when an album ends with the same vibe that we've heard from the beginning of the album. You know, that we're ending with that theme from the first song. Makes me want to listen to the whole album again, because I'm like, oh, I want to hear that first song again to hear the full chorus as it was intended. This is an enjoyable album. Really organic sounding. There's not a lot of electronic instruments used. You have the analog tape. My new album that's coming out on September 22nd is also fairly organic. Make sure to check it out. But yeah, I liked what was going on here. There's a lot of fun, a lot of places where they're pushing boundaries of old rock, kind of taking those influences, taking those inspirations, and then saying, okay, now how can we make this sound like a Panic at the Disco piece? You know, how can we embellish with strings and horns and these just beautiful instrumental sections? There were a few choruses that I didn't think were as strong or as catchy, but overall as an album, it's a really good piece of work. I think it's up there. It's definitely top 3 Panic at the Disco albums for me. This, Pretty Odd, and Death of a Bachelor are some of my favorites. Yeah, I think they did a great job on this. You know, it pays off in waves. That work they put in. You're getting vocals from Brendan that we just haven't heard before. Really scratchy sounds. Makes me concerned a little bit, like he might have some issues that he may want to get checked out. Either that, or he's just learned new techniques to apply more distortion to his vocal naturally. I think it was a fun choice to go back with this older style, especially considering that the last few albums have not been in that old vibe. You know, they have not done that Baroque pop thing to the same extent that they did on something like Pretty Odd. Real nostalgic. I think it's interesting that he's taking a music form that is nostalgic and using it to reflect on his past. I think that pays off well. I think it works because we've kind of attached nostalgia to this older rock and roll vibe. I wish there was more Vegas references because I loved the ones that were there so much. And with a name like Viva Las Vengeance, you kind of expect there to be a lot, you know? Obviously a homage to Viva Las Vegas. I dug it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it enhanced your listening of this album to some extent. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my music. I've got a new album coming out September 22nd. And I've got a few songs from that already. Right here. You can find that. And that's it. Catch you on the flip.
Strawberries in July, 'cause I could use a break from the messes that I made.